Hello guys, I'm Nagul Mira Mankali. I'm a AI aspirant and AI application engineer. So currently I'm exploring AI related topics. As part of my learning, I would like to share whatever I learn, and then I'm going to explore on more on AI side. So my thought process is like whatever I learn and then how I experienced, I want to share the knowledge with you guys so that you can also able to learn AI and then experience the AI power. So as part of today session, so I'm going to touch more about the AI fundamentals. So basically, like if you see the current world, everybody talking about AI and then generative AI, LLMs, so whatnot, right? So before we get deep dive into the advanced topics, right? If you understand the real fundamentals of AI, then it's easy to deep dive into advanced topics. So that's how, like, basically I started my learning. So that's why today I'm going to touch the or I'm going to demonstrate some of the AI fundamentals. So as part of this demonstration, what I did yesterday, I mean, I thought of like a make you a better understanding. So I compare like AI related topics with the human analogy. It means like that way we can easily understand the AI fundamentals. Let's get into the fundamentals, right? Artificial intelligence is the ability of machines to perform tasks that require the human intelligence, right? For example, if you in the universe or in the earth, human species are like a most powerful and then most intelligent species because we can able to think and then we can perform some kind of a complex tasks and then we can think, we can answer, or if we don't know also we can go and search ourselves and then we're able to ultimately we perform the tasks, right? That's like a human intelligence, right? If human intelligence can replicate in a missions, such a way like missions can uh, perform a task like a humans, that is called artificial intelligence here. So understanding language, recognizing images, making a decisions, solving a problems, everything through a mission or some kind of a software or a program. If we can make it that kind of intelligence, or if we can able to replicate that kind of intelligence with any of the missions or programs or software, that is called artificial intelligence. So for example, think of AI as like a digital brain, so that can learn, adapt, and then assist just like a human. So this is nothing but like artificial intelligence. So as part of artificial intelligence, if you today, like, we are talking more about like a models, right? So what is AI model, right? AI model is a kind of a software or piece of a program which can trained on large data sets, such a way it is able to make a decision or prediction on the future things, or anything you ask, it will generate output based on the uh, previous trained data or previous learned knowledge. That is called a model. So a model is nothing but it's already trained or learned on a lot of data and then lot of information, such a way it understands some of the patterns. From the patterns, if you ask anything, it is able to generate the output. That is called AI model. So imagine, like, a student who studies thousands of examples. Once the trained, they can answer any kind of questions or problems, right? For example, if you look at the any academic, like a right, we learn like whole year, and then as part of the end of the academic, so we get the question papers and then the student able to answer the questions, right? How they could answer means they already trained on a lot of books or lot of academic books, lot of topics. Finally they're able to answer for any kind of a questions. That is how, like, if you make any software program or like a software uh, system, if you can make it such a way it can able to generate an answer from the uh, what are the that got trained before. So if it is make it such a way, then that is called a AI model. So now let's talk about the types of AI models, right? So today, like there are different types of AI models are existed. So I don't want to get into more into the these kind of models. I'm just explaining you like what are the different types of AI models exist today. First one is like a machine learning algorithms, right? Machine learning algorithms which trained on the large data sets, and then finally it will able to break the prediction or decision based on the, if you ask for anything, it will predict or it will take some decisions, right? Example, like we have a large amount of historical data, right? So if you feed that historical data, or if any AI model machine learning models are trained on that stocks historical data, ultimately, like it's also predict the future prices. That is called machine learning models. So deep learning models is like a more, it can able to understand the more complex problems like image recognition. For example, how human brain is able to recognize the people, and then if you saw any image or something, we simply say like his identity and everything. Like similarly, like deep learning like works that way. It can read a lot of complex data, and then if you ask something, or if you request for any information, it is able to solve the complex problems. So generative models is nothing but like it's create a content like a text, images, music, or code. So if you ask for something, it is able to create the content based on what it already trained, right? That is called generative AI models. So there are other two models like a reinforcement learning and rule based system. These are like learn by trial and error. Other one is like a follows predefined logic, and then if then rules. This is like a rule based systems. So right now, like like the popular AI models, now we are talking about the generative AI models, right? So now let's look into generative. So generative AI models will create the content like a text, images, audio, or code based on the patterns it learned during the training. It means like if any artist like they study like a thousands of paintings, and now if you ask for any new painting, it's able to just create a new painting out of his previous learned experience. That's how like a generative AI is like a completely trained on lots of data sets and the data, and then from the data sets it understand the kind of a patterns. From the patterns, if you ask for anything, anything new or anything, it will able to go back to understand the pattern. It make a some decision, or it can generate any kind of a output like a text, images, audio, or code. So for example, today like the popular generative AI model is like a chat gpt, dali, mid journey, and sora. These are like a popular generative AI models, which today like we are extensively using like wherever you go, like we are using like via like a copilot or some other chat interfaces. Like we simply throw a question or anything, like it able to give us the answer, right? How it could able to do, right? Basically, like it's trained on lots of thousands of data sets. Like sometimes the models kind of a hundreds of TB of data it got trained. So that's how like a generative AI models works. Now today, like if quite popular, we heard like lots of topics or information on like a large language models, right? Large language models is a kind of a generative AI model. So it trains on like lots of text data sets, and then understand the these kind of patterns. Finally it will generate a human like language. So for example, if we take any like a chat gpt or Claude or anthropic models or anything, right? If you ask anything, it will able to generate a human understandable language. For example, he's like, you can compare like a large language models, he's like a super educated adult, so who has read millions of books and then can answer the questions, write essays, or hold the conversation. It means like he has a vast knowledge on anything. So if you ask anything, he make an answer, and then he can provide the better answer for us. So how these large language models can able to understand, interpret human kind of language means it's already trained on lots of data sets. From there it understands the patterns. From the pattern it make or operate, it make a decision, or it can generate a text kind of human language. That's a large language models. Now like we can uh, understand this concept using the human brain analogy, right? For example, when the baby born, the baby brain you can think as like a, it's like untrained model. For example, when the baby born, he or she, the baby cannot reply for anything, right? When the time passed and then baby grows to baby to kid, toddler to kid, kid to youth or young, and then he became an adult. As part of this entire journey, he is learning a lot of things from the parents and then society and then academics and schools, society and nature. Such a way he got training on lots of data. That is called like a learning phase. That is called a training on a data. Now like once he learned everything, then he became like a matured brain. That is called a pre-trained model. That is called like now chat gpt. So now adult responding, right? Now whatever the question you ask, based on his experience, based on his learning, he able to answer for any kind of a questions from his knowledge. That is called, you can compare like a generative AI models with the human brain analogy. So just like a grown up who can answer the questions based on life experience, and then a generative AI models responded using what it learned during the training. So this is like a best comparison. It will help us to understand more about the generative AI, or you can say like large language models, anything, any current. Now, as part of this AI fundamentals, right? The important building block is like a prompt. So, what is a prompt, right? Prompt nothing but some question or some input we are giving to AI model. Such a way, AI model responded with some kind of answers. The answer or response or output may be like a different kind. It may be a it can be simple text. It may be images. It may be audio, or it may be video. So that's how like a prompt, if you want to, like, even though like if you are meeting some education expert, to get the answer from him, first you need to ask him a like a way, hey, I wanted to learn this one, can you please explain me? Then he's already very well expert in lots of information, so he can provide you the answer, right? Similarly, the prompt is like a kind of a question, or you can input. Such a way the AI model can respond based on the prompt. So if you look at the prompts, right? So there are like a different kind of prompts we can see. One, like, uh, the prompt like which is not really clear prompt. For example, in this case, like tell me about the food. So if you ask this question to someone or like a model, it really don't know like what kind of food information you are expecting. So such a way it will give you like lots of information, sometimes which may be useful for you, which may not be useful for you. So that's why, like, whatever your prompt, right, your prompt would be very specific. For example, if you take the example clear prompt, what are the three healthy breakfast options for someone trying to lose a weight? So this is like a very clear understanding question or a problem. So that's where like AI can respond with a very specific answer what you are asking. So prompting is a very important when you work with the AI model. So now we see like in last 1 year or previous times we heard a lot about the prompt engineering, right? The prompt engineering nothing but uh, how you are smart enough to, or how you are smart enough to making the specific prompt or text to the AI model, such a way you will get the better answers. That's called like a prompt engineering. So so when you work with the AI models, the prompt is very important, so that the prompt is a real key for getting the right answer or right expected output from the AI models. Now there are two types of prompts we can see in the as part of the this prompt building block of prompts. One like a user prompt, and then system prompt. Generally, user prompt is nothing but like whatever we are asking, it can keep changing. So whatever, like, we are throwing a questions to the AI models, that is called a user prompt. There is another system prompt is behind the scene. Whatever you are asking, the system prompt will enhance or curated the whatever the user prompt, such a way like it will give you like a specific instruction to the AI model to generate the right set of answers. That is called a system prompt. For example, you are asking like a question to the like a teacher, can you tell about the like a France revolution kind of information. It's just a simple question to the AI model, but underlying like the system prompt will add some other says that you are a really like a good history teacher, then you have a lot of knowledge on history, so then please explain like a French revolution. So such a way like system prompt will add additional attributes or additional things, such a way the AI model could able to give you the, like a right set of answers. That's a system prompt. So user prompt versus system prompt, we need to understand this clear distinction. This is the one of the basic building block of AI models. Now like this is a key difference, like a challenging very question you ask and system prompt stay constant, because in the behind the scenes system prompt is very much consistent, so like it will guide the AI model to provide the like better answers. So now like there is another building block called a function calling. So the function calling, or today we call it as a more like a tool use, right? Tools, right? So what will happen, right? This generative AI models are pre-trained models. So it means like it's already trained on lots of data sets and all. So sometimes generative AI models does not have a knowledge on the current information or new information, right? In that case, like so large these AI models or generative AI models will utilize the technique called function calling. Such a way, this function calling will able to access the external tools like APIs or some kind of a database or some kind of a real-time data, so that it able to answer for the current related questions. So for example, you are asking about the current weather, but the generative AI model is already trained on the previous data, which is really don't know like what is the current weather, right? Then it will call the weather API, and then such a way it will get the information from the weather API, and then it could able to answer the accurate information. That is called function calling. Function calling method. If even though generative AI model doesn't have a latest information, via function calling or tool usage, it able to connect with the external APIs or other real-time data, which will give you like a accurate answers. So if you look at analogy, right, as I said, like generative AI is like a adult human brain, right? One point of time adults stopped learning the things, right, new things. So now like for example, assume, right, today like a quantum computer is going like a very popular. So when the people who learn adult, he don't know the what the current information related to the quantum computing. But however, if you ask for the current generation kids or other experts, they know the information about the quantum computing. So what they will do, right, when you ask like a question to what is the quantum computing, even though the adult brain doesn't have this information, it will goes to other experts or other kids who currently know the quantum computing information, will get the capture the information from expert of the quantum computing, and then finally it will provide the answer to the whoever is asking the question. So this is how like it is rely on someone's experts, such a way it will able to complete the or solve the problems. This is called nothing but a function calling or tool usage. Nothing but LLM delegates the task to the external tools when it does not have the answers to itself. So this is a function calling. So another building block of a generative AI is like a RAG. So retrieval augmented generation, right? So what is a retrieval augmented generation is nothing but enhance the LML response by retrieving the relevant information from the external knowledge source. It means sometimes like like a generate, as I said, like generative AI models are pre-trained models which doesn't know the any information about your organization or your private data. For example, you are running some business on selling your apparel business, right? So the generative AI model really don't know like what is your sales from the last 1 year, or what is your current sales, or what is your inventory and all these information really don't know. But if you ask about like what is my current inventory, or what are my this year sales and all. uh, that generative AI cannot answer the question. So that time it's really what it will do, right? RAG is a kind of a technique, right? It will connect to your data sets or your documents or your database, such a way it will pull the information from your database, and then it will enhance the data such a way it will provide you the information about your sales and the inventory, these details. Which means like, even though the generative AI model doesn't have any clue on your private data or your private information, as using the RAG technique, it will train, or it will go and connect your information. It will capture those data, and then finally like it will combine this your private data and also your question, and then it will able to generate the right set of answers for you. This is called a RAG. So if you look at the analogy, right, imagine that adult brain needs to answer the complex or current question, right? So the adult walks into a library, nothing but a vector database or document store, we call it in the technical terminology. Search for the relevant books or articles. For example, is asking like some new information, and then read the most useful pages, and then finally like it will prepare or it will generate an answer based on the new information. So currently like RAG is like a very popular technique which will help you to work on your organization specific needs or your use cases, such a way like LLM can be trained on your private data or organization data sets. So it will give you like a better answers for any kind of questions which is related to your organization or your private data. So that's how like RAG is a very important technique as part of the AI fundamentals. Now like another building block as part of the RAG is like embeddings, right? Embeddings nothing but like, like these AI models will work such a way it will pull the information or semantic information based on the vectors. Like if you give any kind of a text or anything, it will generate some kind of a vectors nothing but it like, like an array of floating numbers. So these vectors will help you to generate some kind of a uh, very relevant information or similar information from these kind of a concept. For example, if you take the memory association, right? Memory and association, your brain store the concept. It's not like alphabetically to store the information. Rather, if you look at here, like a apple will be stored like this. Banana will be assumed like it will stored as a sequence of like a array of numbers, and then laptop it would be like a array of numbers, right? So now when you ask any questions, right, it will go and search on those embeddings, and it will find the similar words or similar tokens, such a way it will generate like relevant answers. For example, everyday example, right? Embeddings in action. For example, what is a good food for the breakfast? The moment you ask this one, first of all, it will go and then search for the what is the closest word for the fruit and the breakfast, right? Then it like it will search in the fruits which is more matching to the fruit word, right? For example, banana, berries, these are like more matching. Finally, it will identify that information. From that, it will generate a best answer for you. So for example, like why the embeddings are matters for you, like find a similar items, recommendation system, search by meaning, not just like a words, understand the context and relationship, group related concept automatically. So as part of the RAG, what we will do, right? We will use embeddings to store the these kind of each and every tokens as part of the embedding vector store, such a way like whenever you ask like any question, it will go and search in the vector database to generate the like a very meaningful answers from the vector database. So this is the one of the important concept. uh, I will explain in detail in my blogs. I already did as part of one of my blogs, so you can go through those blogs and then understand more about these embeddings and then how embeddings are created, underlying concept that is also explained as part of my blogs. Now, if you look at the what are the popular models like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Llama, DALI, Midjourney, these are like a, today like a popular. Now let's talk about today. Like people are talking more about A agent, right? So A agent is like an autonomous system that can perceive its environment and then make a decision. It means like it can like a software program, and like it's like a piece of software, but it autonomously working to provide a or meet the specific goals. For example, you want to travel to one place to another place, right? So if you ask this question to AI agent, it will go and search like a, it will plan everything, like it will go and search like where you can get the better flight tickets. It will prepare a plan, like first it will figure it out the best fare rates, and then it will book a ticket, and then it will go and then search for the hotels at the destination, and then it will book the hotels. And then once you reach your destination, if you have any kind of a scheduled meetings and all, it will plan the meetings like your schedule and all. So everything will be like automated without your human interference, as part of these decisions, right? If you could build a system such a way it can autonomously can work and take the decision, that is called a AI agent. So think of agent can be a personal assistant who doesn't just answer the questions, but can actually complete the task for you, like booking appointment, managing the emails, or ordering the groceries. This is called a AI agent. So we will use like these AI models. So we have different kind of a framework to build the AI agent. So that these AI agents autonomously take the decision and then complete the goals. Now if you look at the human analogy, like imagine hiring an assistant who understand your goals, like I need to organize the team meetings, plan the steps, check the calendars and find the time, book a room, take actions like send invites and reserve the rooms, adapt if needed, like a reschedules or if the conflict. So everything will happen like a decision also taken by the agent. Here there is no human intervention as part of the entire this process. So if you can build a system that can autonomously working, that is called a AI agent. So agent, now like what is agentic AI, right? Agentic AI refers to the AI system designed with the agency. So it's the same like if any kind of a system or pattern which can generate like a uh, bunch of AI agent line which will connected like in a workflow, such a way like if you meet any goals, right, that is called agentic AI. So the ability to act like independently, make the decisions, and then pursue the goals autonomously over the extended period. If you could make it any system, or if you could make it this kind of a pattern, that is called a agentic AI. So there are like a several frameworks today. We have like a, I'll explain in detail later point of this video, but basically like these are the main building blocks of uh, AI related concept, or you can say like AI fundamentals. So if you one shot you want to understand entire AI concept, this is the uh, demonstration. You can understand entire how today AI world is working, right? So it's a very simple. User is asking a question to LLMs, right? Large language models, nothing but an adult brain. Can I answer this question? Because it's already trained on the lots of data set. If that LLM can generate the answer from the what are the data which is already trained based on his patterns, based on the pattern, if the brain, if the adult brain can answer, then it will say yes, and then it will generate an answer, and finally it will give you the answer. So assume like if LLM cannot able to answer that question, then it will go to rely on some external tools using either function calling or tool use, or it utilize the rack technique to generate the better response from the to connecting to the external system, like either it is going to real time data or database, or it may be go through your documents or private data organization data set. Finally it will generate answer which is more relevant to your question. So this is entire fundamental concept. Today entire AI applications are working. So all you need to, like, you need to choose a AI model and then ask the question, and then if that it's not able to answer, then connect your organization specific data sets, either to data sources like your documents or your database or anything which is related to your organization specific data set. And then you are able to make the answer out of your organization specific data. So that's how like anything, if you take like any chat assistant or chatbots or anything, which will go and connect with these systems via either using the tools concept or rack technique, it will able to generate the answer. So assume like if you want to build some kind of a stock analyzer to predict the stock data, right? What you will do, right? uh, Even though some of the AI models is able to generate the answer with the stock related information, still you are not happy. Then what you can do, right? You can build your own. You will connect to the historical data of stock using some kind of a libraries called Yahoo Finance Library or Vantage Alpha Vantage kind of a libraries. It will fetch the data, and then you can apply like a, then AI model works on these data sets, and it will generate the or it will provide you like a prediction of the future price of the stocks. So that's how like a enter AI application. So that's it guys, like these are like a core fundamentals of AI. So if you could understand these fundamentals, then you can deep dive into the advanced concept. Thank you, hope you guys enjoy the session.